Unpack this now with Ross Feingold, who joins us from Taipei. He's a political risk analyst on Asian affairs. Ross, always good to speak to you on the program. The fact that during this phone call, really afterwards, the President Xi used the phrase, "Those who play with fire will get burned," is quite a powerful statement from a world leader. What message is Xi Jinping trying to convey by using that particular phrase?
China is very unhappy with some of the actions that the United States or other countries have taken recently, which changes the relationship between those countries and Taiwan to something that really approaches an official relationship. They don't call it diplomatic relations, but it is an all but name. And this clearly for China is very sensitive, and they don't want to see high-level visits by parliamentarians, whether from Europe or possibly from Nancy Pelosi.
Well, how do you think they are then going to react to Pelosi's scheduled visit to Taiwan?
Well, it's been a matter of great speculation in this part of the world in recent days. They could do military exercises that coincide with her travels in Asia, including if she flies in and out of Taiwan. They could take economic retaliation against Taiwan. There are a number of examples in recent months where Taiwan has banned imports of agricultural products from Taiwan. Or another tool that they have would be to persuade a country that still has diplomatic relations with Taiwan to break off those relations and change their relations to China.
Well, the White House, though, took a bit of a different tone when describing the conversation. Their statement saying it was constructive and candid. So what would Joe Biden have wanted out of this call and seen it play out?
It's a consistent approach for the Biden administration when it comes to China relations is, despite the tensions, to emphasize areas where they hope for cooperation. That includes Iran's nuclear program, North Korea's nuclear program, environmental change, climate change, and then more recently, of course, the war in Ukraine. And now, as you mentioned, as your colleague mentioned, the global economy. But the reality is that this hope for bilateral relations to have some achievements on those issues has simply not come to fruition on any of those issues. But most notably, in recent months, U.S. hope that they could somehow persuade China to use its influence with Russia.
And that could be something that could still happen. They are scheduled to have another conversation or even meeting later on. But both countries, the world's two biggest economies, are experiencing the effects of an global economic downturn. Is it not in both their interests to look at working together to try and improve the situation, not just for their own countries, but for the world as a whole?
The challenge for President Biden in that regard, though, is he can make the obvious choice, which would be to reduce some of the tariff increases that were imposed by the Trump administration. But there's going to be an extraordinary amount of criticism should he do that from Republicans, possibly from labor unions, domestic manufacturers. And they're going to ask, well, what did China give the United States in return for you extending this benefit to them of reducing some of the tariffs? And it's just not clear what China has to offer the Biden administration that could balance out the political criticism or the political capital that President Biden would have to spend if he were to reduce tariffs, notwithstanding that some of his team and President Biden, I think we know they believe that it could help reduce inflation. It could help with some of the economic concerns. But again, they have this political balancing that they need to do before they're willing to make that decision. And obviously, it's taken them an extraordinarily long time to actually make a decision about reducing some of the tariffs.
Ross Feingold, great to get your analysis as always, speaking to us there from Taipei. Thanks, Ross.